Geno,
Yes.
it's Carl. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. The NCAA announced today that they're looking to have the tournament at one site, and that site's San Antonio. San Antonio's been good for you in the past. So just what's your reaction to the tournament, looking that way at one site like the men's going to go? It seemed like it was going to be pretty obvious that it would go that way.
Yeah, it did seem that way, that it was going to be a matter of time before, we would make that kind of announcement from the NCAA. There really doesn't seem to be any other alternative. Trying to get 64 teams from all over the country and fly to all those places and deal with all the different protocols that are involved everywhere. It just made more sense, I'm sure, to bring everybody to Texas. I'm sure it'll include more than just San Antonio if you got 64 teams, but obviously, at least it gives us some guidance and some idea of what the tournament is going to look like.
Alexa, you want to go ahead?
Hey, Geno.
Hey.
After, I guess, some time to reflect on Saturday, what more do you want to see from, I guess, Kristen and Liv specifically? You said the day of that they didn't have particularly great days, but what are you looking for them to bring to the floor tomorrow?
Well, there's a lot of experience that the two of them have. They've certainly played in their share of games at UConn, regular season, postseason. And, there's got to be, I think, on their end, a willingness and want to, I believe, to really assert themselves at both ends of the floor, on offense and on defense, to really be, I don't know what's the word, but we use the word consistent a lot, but to be consistently aggressive, to be a consistent factor on defense, to be a consistent factor on offense, and be involved in a lot of different possessions, make things happen, whether it's with the ball or without the ball. So just be more impactful in the game. And I thought both of them were way too passive, I thought, for us to be, I think, the team that we want to be.
Does it help, given that this team, in theory, might have more depth? There's a lot of guards you can work with. Maybe, in Olivia's case, Aaliyah can go in and bring it to something else different. Is having those options, you think, maybe challenge them a little bit more, in theory, to bring what you're asking them to bring on the court?
I would think that anytime there's, options, then that's good. It's good for the team to have a lot of different ways to attack somebody or to defend somebody. But this is a really competitive game. Sports are competitive, and you've got to compete. Whether it's you got to compete for minutes played, whether you got to compete for a number of rebounds you get, whether you got to compete, against the guy you're guarding. It's a competitive environment that you're in when you're an athlete, and you have to compete all the time. And it shouldn't matter whether there's someone else on the team that plays your position or there isn't. I think when you have that competitive drive, you're like that regardless. But last year we really didn't have a lot of options. So if someone was struggling or you needed a change for any reason, we didn't have the ability to do that. I think we're much more able to do that this year. We won't be bringing anybody off the bench that has the same kind of experience, but the only way you can get experience is by playing. So the more times we put people in the game, the better they're going to be eventually.
Doug Feinberg, you want to go ahead?
Hey, Geno, good to see you.
Hey.
Just to follow up on Carl's question, I mean, there's still obviously a lot of unknowns about what they would do with the tournament, even if it's in one site or one area. They mentioned Austin might be an area they might expand to make it work for everyone. My two questions for you is just, if you potentially would have to have your team in lockdown, so to speak, for 3 weeks, if that's how long you guys last to make the Final Four like you've been doing, is that going to be, you think, harder in a sense than playing a weekend, traveling? And the second part is, you coach so many of these, do you think potentially they could shrink the tournament timing since you're not traveling? You could play not the typical 2 games a weekend, maybe make it a shorter time frame. Is that something as a coach you could do, or is it you think the way it is now is fine?
Well, I think all the scenarios that you mentioned are probably on the table. Again, I can't imagine one. Excuse me. I can't imagine one place being able to handle 64 teams. So obviously, there's going to be the proverbial San Antonio region. I just like to say, hey, we're going to Texas. That's where the NCAA tournament is going to be held. What the format is going to be, I don't know. Staying at home and then having to travel, I think becomes problematic, depending on where we are at that time, obviously, relative to where we are with the pandemic. So if you're in one place, there's one set of protocols for the entire state. So that's one positive to it. The second is, if you're playing Saturday, Tuesday, or Saturday, Monday, like we normally have been, I don't know why you also wouldn't be able to play, if you went Saturday, Monday, and then go Thursday, Saturday, or play 4 games in 1 week. But I don't know how you could play more than 4 games in 1 week. If you go Saturday, Monday, and then Thursday, Saturday, whatever the case may be, I don't know how you can shrink the actual how long it takes to play an NCAA tournament, unless you were to play every other day. And I don't know if that's on the table. It might be. It might be because you're in the same area. If you play your traditional Saturday, Monday, well, now you go Saturday, Monday, and then you go Wednesday, Friday. And then right away, the following Monday, Wednesday. I think for the health and safety of the players, you're going to have to take a look at all these things. How many games do you want to play in 1 week when you're talking about the biggest games that you're playing of the year? And the NCAA is still dragging their feet on, granting eligibility or granting waivers to kids that have, come in from other schools. Well, they should make managers eligible this year. They should make anybody who's sitting on the bench able to play. You're going to need bodies as this thing goes on. And, by the time you get to the NCAA tournament, those that are fortunate enough to be there, and you're going to be playing there for 3 weeks. I mean, you're talking about, a lot of wear and tear. So a lot of factors go into all this. And I'm sure by that time, we'll have a better idea. They'll have a better idea. But at least we have something, right now.
Joe Zone, you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you. Joe Zone, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Because you were so excited to just see them play the first game, I wonder after you looked at the tapes a little bit closer, if you're more enthusiastic or less enthusiastic about how they played their first game Saturday.
Hey, look, during the regular season, I'm never enthusiastic about anything. I'm always concerned about, what do we have coming up next? So when I looked at the game from Saturday, I saw a lot of good things from a lot of young players. I saw things that you just shake your head and go, how in God's name do we do that after practicing for that long? So yeah, you don't, you don't ever overlook those things. And those things always seem to stand out more, you know? So for Tuesday night, it's a completely different team that we're playing than we played Saturday. Way more talented, way more athletic, you know, able to score a lot more points. It's a conference game. So if we play the way we played Saturday, we won't win. So the whole point of it was play Saturday, find out what we got to get better at. You have one day and one shoot around to get better at it, and then go get them Tuesday.
Doug Bonjour.
Geno, you had just touched on it a little bit, but obviously there's always been some build up to the start of conference play. This year it's obviously different. Could you just reflect on that, just the significance of starting conference play, especially, this year, Big East and everything?
For sure. This is a unique experience for any of the kids that are on our team that have already played here at UConn and are used to playing, in non-Big East games. I think this is a unique experience in what this all means. And I would venture to say that, Tuesday's game, Thursday's game, Saturday's game, these are all, and then following Tuesday's game, these are games that I think are going to be they're going to be competed at a little bit of different level than maybe some of these kids are used to. And for the freshmen, they don't know any better. They just know we have a game at Seton Hall, and they know it's a conference game, and the winners, we'd be 1-0 if we won, and we'd be 0-1 if we lost. And the object is to try to win the Big East championship. But I certainly know what kind of place Seton Hall is to play at, and the significance for me of being back in the Big East, and what that brings back for me. For me, it's pretty special. I'm nervous. I'm anxious to get down here and play, and right on cue. It's snowing outside, and you're going to Jersey, and it's, and it's Walsh Gym, and people are on top of you. So the only thing that's different is there's not going to be anybody there, but it's a Big East game. That's all I need to know.
Eric Dobratz.
Hey, Geno, it's actually John Pearson posing as Eric Dobratz on Zoom, but
Oh, my bad.
no, that's okay. I didn't sign on my own. But hey, you talk about going down there, being on top of each other. We saw what a home game looks like, and that felt like a different planet. What's a road game going to be like, do you think? And what kind of precautions do you take as you head down there?
I don't know. I don't know. The same thing we've been doing, wear your mask, sit on the bus, wear your mask, check in, go to your hotel room, sit around, get up the next morning, don't go anywhere, don't do anything, don't talk to anybody. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've never walked into a road gym and there wasn't anybody there. Not since I've been coaching at Connecticut anyway. I don't know what it's going to be like. It's just going to be weird. Just like Saturday was weird.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
It was really bizarre. Man, oh man.
I
I don't know. Go ahead.
I want to touch something about Saturday. Got to see some people with my own eyes there. Paige, obviously, but Aaliyah, I think you talked about earlier before we all saw her, a little Nafisa, but she had a little Asia Jones, I thought, too, in that toughness, the way he commands the floor. Am I off on that, or is that kind of, that toughness she played with,
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the kids that are coming out of high school today, they have a lot going for them. I don't know that they have the fundamentals of the game down. They really don't. You know, I think the whole travel system of basketball has kind of taken away all that. Now it's just run up and down the floor and do your thing and hope some college coach falls in love with you, you know? So when you get somebody like Aaliyah and, you know, you kind of are drawn to, you know, her size and her toughness and how aggressive she is and how hard she runs the floor and all that good stuff. The other stuff, Asia Jones had all those things, you know, coming out of high school because it was a different time then. You know, Fisa pretty much, you know, developed into like an unguardable offensive player. So Aaliyah is starting at the right spot. She's starting, you know, with the toughness and the aggressiveness and the, you know, how she, you know, presents herself on the basketball court and how hard she works. The other stuff we're going to have to work on her with, but she's about Asia Jones' size. That's about right. And, you know, and she runs like Fisa. So she's got a great place to start. And she had, you know, she got a lot done in her minutes the other day.
Thanks, Geno. Good to see you.
You too.
Mike Anthony.
Thanks. Geno, just going back to the strange setting of Saturday and your observations on that. I'm wondering what the in-game experience was like for you, the bench experience. Obviously a very different setup. You're having to wear a mask. I'm wondering how it was for you in trying to accomplish what you need to accomplish as a coach and how you, the challenges of communicating with players, if you felt that at all, just given the bizarre nature of
you know, communicating wasn't that big of a problem because there's no sound. So it's bad for the players because they can't look over and go, I didn't hear you, you know, give me some line like that, you know. So communicating with the players is not an issue. What was different was the lack of a reaction to anything that happened, because when you're playing, it's almost like a, you know, like a graph that you're looking at on a computer screen or anywhere, you know, and it's going to move like this as you're playing, and then something's going to happen and it's going to spike it all the way up, and then that keeps you up there for a while. That puts you in a different place, and then, you know, you'll come down a little bit, and then somebody will make a play, something will happen, and it'll spike back up, and the game kind of goes like that. And to play in a game where it's like this all the time, it's almost like numbing. Like one play leads to the next, 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 and next thing you know, hey, it's halftime. Let's go inside. And maybe when the games get in, as we get later into the season and the games have more significance to them, maybe you won't even notice any of that stuff. I just think it's difficult to feel the ebb and flow of the game, the rhythm of the game, the tempo of the game, the rhythm of the crowd, you know, the wave that's created sometimes, you know, and just none of it's there.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, some of your players are sitting like, I don't know, 15, 20 feet behind you. It's just like a different planet, as we've been talking about.
It is. And hey, they're getting a chance to play basketball.
Yeah.
Is it the kind of basketball game that they envisioned? No, but a lot of things that they envisioned aren't the same. So they're getting a chance to play. And that is something that, you know, to be grateful for. And I think they're grateful for it. And I know the coaching staff is. And the people watching at home probably are. But it's just, it's weird. It's weird. It's, it's like, like when you get a gift and you weren't expecting it, and there's like this level of excitement, you feel really good, and you're up, and you want to celebrate, and like, what if you got one of those every single day for like where there's no excitement anymore? It's just, there's nothing. So even a great play, it's met with like, for the most part. That's the part I'm having a hard time grasping.
So you don't like the gift, huh?
It's no, I don't. I don't.
Where were you for your post-game press conference?
Same room.
Okay.
Same room. I gotta talk to the staff there though. Like they had those dog posters in the end zone, the dog pound, where we have more dogs than we have people. And my mother watching, she was like, her thing's over there, and she thinks it's the most bizarre thing she's ever seen, and she's 89 and has seen everything since World War II. And she thinks this is the most ridiculous thing she's ever seen. But I think in the post-game press conference, we ought to have cutouts of you guys, not the stuff on the screen. I want to see like a cutout, so I can like look over you, throw a little spitball at you, hit you in the side of the head or something, so we can at least inject some humor into this nonsense.
That'd be great.
So let's do this. Send Anna a picture of your cutout, your favorite picture, or send your pet, your dog, or whatever, your parakeet. Send something.
And you won't charge the $50?
I was gonna say thank you all for your $50 donation to the UConn Foundation.
Hey,
I'll send your bill to Geno Auriemma.
I'll pay the $50 just so I have something to laugh at.
You guys don't see, he sees you. We put up a TV by the camera, so he sees all of you during post game. All right, Mark, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, hi, Geno. Mark Singleton up at the Albany Times Union. How you doing?
Good.
I'm wondering, the regional would have been here in March. You won it here 3 times. How much do you think you might miss coming up here and just playing in front of what's been a very pro UConn atmosphere, winning championships 3 times?
Well, obviously, as we said, there's really nothing like playing in a packed building. Whether it is all UConn fans or whether it's on the road. And there's 15,000 people rooting against you. There's still something to be said for that. But Albany's always been a great event, not just because we want it all the time that we were up there or because our fans will go up there, but I think just the way it's run and the way it's put together, the building, the way it's organized, and how the people support it. There's been talk about, hey, we should have the regionals, all in one place, all in Las Vegas or something. And my point is, they're called regionals for a reason. They should be in the region where the teams are from, or at least 4 parts of the country. And I think here in the Northeast, whether it's been Bridgeport or Albany recently, we probably get the best crowds of any regional in America. And that's a credit to, you people up there in Albany and people in Bridgeport. And there's been times when we've also lost. So we're going to be missing something hey, look, with these guys that I'm coaching right now, I might still be in Albany that weekend while, all the other teams are in Texas. So you never know. Maybe, meet you. What's that steakhouse, 77 or something? Or tell me the name of it. I don't remember it.
I'm trying to remember. I don't go there. So I think
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Yeah, right downtown. Maybe I'll meet you there and we'll watch the regionals on TV, me and you.
Sounds good to me. Hey, by the way, you mentioned Seton Hall. Were you surprised they lost to Albany yesterday, or how surprised were you that they lost to Albany yesterday?
it took us by surprise. We didn't even know they were playing last night, but it turns out they were missing 2 starters. I don't know what that means, but it's early in the season. I think you're going to have this a lot. I think you're going to have teams that, are going to have a hard time keeping it together for long stretches. So you might have a team play great for a week or 2 weeks and then have a really bad week, and some of that's going to be expected, I think. I'm nothing surprises me anymore. Let's put it that way.
Charlotte, you want to go ahead?
How's everyone doing, kind of feeling after the first game, and is it as expected after not competing for so long?
As expected for who? For me?
For just, the players, how they're doing, or what you kind of expected the players to be in.
Yeah,
after.
I mean, they were pumped up. They were excited, and they came today and practiced. They're different. You can see it. There's a different feeling in practice because now we're practicing for a reason. They know who we're playing tomorrow. Before, we didn't know anything about anything or when it was going to be. We know, as of right now, we have a game tomorrow. And the intensity level has been better. The whole vibe's been better. So, they are excited, really, really excited. And they felt great after the game.
Maria, you want to go ahead, and then we'll go to Vicky.
Charlotte, were you done? Were you trying to finish?
Oh no, I was just gonna go ahead. It was a quick follow.
My bad, Charlotte.
Go ahead.
That's okay. I actually wanted to follow up, Coach, on Alexa's question regarding Olivia and Kristen. Did you address anything with them, or did any of the staff address more of what you want to see, or is that something that's just understood from them?
I mean, I don't worry too much about, one game or one outing. If they were freshmen, I might have to sit down and explain the ins and outs of college basketball. And, you got 2 juniors that are experienced players. What are you going to explain? What are you going to explain? Hey, we need more from you guys. I'm sure they would tell me, Coach, you don't think I know that? So, no, I mean, there was just business as usual on our end. I mean, kids came in, we did some individual work with them, including Liv, including Kristen, and we practiced and we go on tomorrow. They could play lights out tomorrow. And then I'll say, yeah, it was the long talk I had with them.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Vicky, you want to go ahead, and then we'll do Charlotte's follow-up, and then Doug.
Geno, last week when you talked, you didn't talk much about basketball. It was sort of like all, are we ever going to play? Did the game kind of kick you into basketball mode? Like you're more like talking about the players and how they did and different things. Did it kind of kick you into basketball mode a little bit?
It did. It took some of your focus from all the other stuff, because that's all you had. That's what you lived with every day. And it put it on basketball much more, for sure. We played Saturday, but Sunday morning we had to come in and test. So it's never far from your mind. But basketball is more at the forefront now. We're watching film, we're doing scouting reports, we're getting on a bus. I was putting things in a suitcase last night. That's the first time I've done that since February. I haven't gone anywhere. That almost felt weird. But basketball is back front and center now. For now.
Charlotte, you want to go ahead, and then Doug?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to follow up when you were talking about that different feeling in practice, what you were able to do differently today in that first practice since having a game, or how that kind of shaped out compared to the last couple of months.
No, today at practice, we were preparing for a specific opponent. So the focus was different than, you're practicing in the middle of November for what? You don't know what you're practicing for. So after a while, it becomes very monotonous and very tedious, and especially when it's been going on that long. Now you come to practice and there's an opponent. This is who you're guarding. This is what they're going to do. This is what we're going to try to do. And we have to get it right today because this is tomorrow. It's not, we don't have a week or 2 weeks. So the whole thing all of a sudden changes. And this whole week will be like that, because right after tomorrow, Wednesday, we have to get ready for Creighton. And then Friday, we have to get ready for Xavier. And then Sunday and Monday, we have to get ready for Villanova. So we went from just show up, practice, go home and not know anything to now we know exactly why we're practicing. So that's changed. It's changed the whole vibe, as I said.
Doug, you want
just
to go ahead? Sorry, go ahead.
Just a quick logistical question. Are you traveling tonight or in the morning, or what are your plans for that?
Today.
To go to Seton Hall?
Tonight, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Coach?
Geno, it's Carl. What's it like having games during final exams? I mean, obviously it's different because, they take, classes remotely and things, but, they still have finals.
Yeah. I thought you were asking me. I just went back to my college days. I haven't studied much for them, so I don't know how well I'll do on them. But I hope the players are much more prepared than I am. And that's another thing that's weird. They haven't had any chance to spend time with their professors, even to go, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Have a relationship. Everything is, and then you got some people, they just post the stuff online and you don't even, so now you're taking finals. They should have made every class pass fail the entire semester. It can't be easy for sure. And it's not ideal, that, kids are trying to get their work done, they're taking finals, today, they're just, it's just adding another layer of stuff on top of all the other things. But that's where we are. Everything that we used to say, we can't do that. Now, everything's topsy-turvy.